Warning: this program is intended for adults of legal drinking age. Whiskey is consumed and discussed. The intent is to educate our palates on the differences of whiskey flavors and not an intent to get drunk. Please drink responsibly.
Hey, everybody, humans and whiskey enthusiasts. I'm
all
just,
the peoples.
All the people. Those are the two categories of people. There's humans and there's whiskey enthusiasts. Hey, I'm Joseph Limbaugh, and welcome to I Fucking Love Whiskey. It's called that because I fucking love whiskey, as do the gentleman next to me. And as always, I'm joined by Andrew Pierce.
Hello, everybody. I also, surprise, surprise, fucking love whiskey. And today we have a super generous friend here on the show. He's a computer programmer, crazy, small calligrapher, whiskey enthusiast, all-around generous person. Jim Leuper, everybody.
Hello, all.
And you have been very generous in bringing us a number of Distillery Exclusive bottles today.
Exactly right. So this week in the US, we just celebrated Thanksgiving. I was thinking about what have I been thankful for? And one of the things has definitely been that I've had the opportunity to travel to Scotland and visit a lot of distilleries in person. You do the tour, you do the tasting, but one of the nice things is often in the shop, they'll have a bottling that is strictly exclusive to the distillery. You can get it there, you can get it nowhere else. And so I picked up a few of them along the way. And so I brought samples so that we can try them out, see how they go.
So these are more rare than rare whiskeys, really.
They're pretty small.
Yeah.
I mean, and as we go through the lineup, the number of those bottles available is going to get smaller and smaller and smaller.
Oh, wow. So we're going on a journey of exclusivity at the same time as we are
Indeed.
going up in ABV.
Indeed.
I think both
but
Joseph-
hopefully it includes everybody to go along on the journey as well. Like,
Yeah.
just because we're having a distillery exclusive, these are from wonderful distilleries that make wonderful whiskeys along the way.
Right.
And so whatever you have is going to be great.
People can still go to these distilleries because they're open and they can get their own exclusive. Like
That's
whatever
true.
they're making
Exactly
now,
right.
And
Although,
they can get
although
their
it's a little
mass-
spotty with COVID because some of them are trying to find their way to reopening for tours and visitors and stuff. But yeah.
So get vaccinated.
Or just go out and get their mass distributed whiskeys that they make.
Yeah,
they're also
their
good.
core lineups are great.
Great.
Good point,
Core
good
lineups.
point.
That's what I was
So
trying
what
to
are we
say.
starting with? We should probably get into these whiskeys. We've
Oh,
got
we
five
should.
today.
Whiskeys
So-
are for everyone,
Yeah.
by the way.
So first up, let's say we arrived in Edinburgh, Glasgow, typical places you'd fly in. If you head north about 90 minutes, you get to the town of Pitlochry. And Pitlochry is the home to Blair Athol and Edwardour. And so today we have a Blair Athol. They labeled it as distillery exclusive. It's one of 4,500 bottles, so it's a small batch marriage of casks. They don't get into a lot of specifics about the casks. Light sherry, which is not at all surprising from Blair Athol, bottled at 48%.
Yeah, I mean, you could kind of.
Exciting.
I might have guessed that it was like a light sherry because there's a bit of darkness there, but not not a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Pale.
And it's interesting. We were saying earlier that like these glasses have misted up a bit on the inside. Like that's really interesting. Like I don't know why it's doing that. And this, like I guess the second one is as well, but the others have not.
They're sort of working their way along, which is interesting as the weather cooled down where we are.
I think that's probably what it was. just
And I'm just
condensation.
I want to know. Oh wow.
Oh boy.
Oh man.
It's very smooth nose.
It's like a field of magical fire flowers.
I'm getting a little basement dank in there too. So this is like the pool room downstairs with the wood paneling.
I love the way that whiskeys smell outside. It's like it's so, I don't know, there's something so open about it and fresh.
Slangeva.
Slangeva. I think we might as well get started now. This is my favorite whiskey. Might as well get started on this journey. You're probably going to have 5 of my favorite
I
whiskeys
think you probably
here
are.
today. Because
This is pretty spectacular.
Yeah.
It's spicy.
Mm-hmm.
what's the ABV on this?
48.0.
48. Yeah, it's very smooth. Very smooth. It's really, really
Bit of vanilla
accessible.
on the finish.
Mm-hmm. I'm getting like red hots kind of sticking to the back of my tongue for a long time in that finish. A little spiciness.
Yeah, considering the low ABV, it does have a little bit of that sort of effervescence going on.
This reminds me of running through a sprinkler when I was a kid, like on the lawn, you know, and it's like the sun is out and you're eating a Jolly Rancher.
Mm-hmm. Tanis says, wow, powerful opening. Is this really 48%? Yeah, I hope you did a warm up there, Tanis.
I mean, you wouldn't need to though, because once again, it's like really accessible. Like,
right.
You know, like,
yeah, you wouldn't have to warm up.
Like I was surprised
to sort of
when
prepare
you said,
yourself for it. It comes in very comfortably.
Yeah, when you said 48, I was kind of surprised. I was like, really?
But it's like running. You should always stretch in advance, even if you don't think you need to stretch in advance.
I never stretch in advance.
Okay, well,
and that
I
explains
have
a lot of things.
injuries.
And that explains the many hospital visits, Jim.
his 5 knee replacement
Man,
surgeries.
This is really good. I can already tell, like, I don't want to science this.
This is my favorite whiskey. Holy
Yeah.
cow, yeah. I keep going back to the nose alone. Just
Right. I mean, I get the need to do science on them, but I never want to on a nice, like, full strength whiskey. Even this one was probably watered down as part of, to get it to 48%. I'm always suspicious when it ends in 0.0.
yeah, that's a little too on the
like
nose.
once in a while, sure, but no, there are a lot that you get the sense they're bringing it down to a target strength. But this works really well at 48.
Yeah, it just reminds me of that water that comes out of the out of the spigot, on the outside of your house. That's why I'm thinking sprinkler. Like it.
I want to
it
visit
has-
your house. This is what comes out of the spigot.
In his dreams.
I mean, the water that comes out of that spigot at this point is just nostalgia, but
Nostalgia. I remember that.
I'm nostalgic for right now.
Nightbot censored someone in the chat because they tried to use the name of the show. Guess you can't do that in the chat.
You have to say, I thing love whiskey.
Right? But we can tell you here, we fucking
We
love this
fucking,
whiskey.
we fucking love it.
I'm remarkably fond of whiskey.
Yeah, just remarkably fond. Interesting.
You'll get there, Jim.
I feel like we have time.
I mean, we don't have to science it, right? I mean, we don't have
No.
to. Like,
If anyone was going to, it probably should be Jim who has the whole bottle.
wow.
Fair enough.
Wow.
Wow, this is a lovely bus that I'm under.
Jim brings us whiskey, and you toss him under a bus.
It's an uptown bus, at least. Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
It does open up the nose a bit.
Well, that's
I'm terrible at identifying what I smell, but there is more there with a drop of water.
So
might
bigger
try it.
nose.
I'm gonna try it. We'll see how it tastes. Though.
Right.
That's kind of the real.
That's
Because
always
that's where it can go south real quick.
exactly.
We're getting creative in the chat now. I frickin' love whiskey. I chicken love whiskey. That's a good one.
I love whiskey chicken. Whiskey chicken. Yeah. What do you think?
Vigorously romance whiskey.
It certainly doesn't hurt it. It gets rid of a little of the effervescence, which lets you find more of the flavors. I would say, yeah, give it a try. It's actually quite nice.
I'm gonna try it.
You didn't.
I did.
Ugh. Well, if my friends jump off the cliff.
Yeah, it's more that funky smell. Like now it's a pipe, like in a dugout underground basement. Right, that's where the water pipe is. Rather
Yeah,
than on the outside.
you're
of the
getting
house.
some of the earthen floor, I think.
I'm still getting exterior though.
Really?
Yeah, I don't get basement. I get like muddy field kind of.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely it's like I'm open to the
decomposing grass.
yeah,
Not in a bad way.
or like a pit that's open, that's just dug out of a grassy lawn.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so me playing golf.
Yeah, yeah. When I was a kid, we dug a hole in the backyard, to make an underground fort.
Mm-hmm.
So
That was totally safe.
totally safe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
whatever happened to your brother?
Oh yeah, that is interesting. I like what it does.
What did it do though? What is going on there?
I feel like it does the same thing with the taste. Like it's more funky. It's less effervescent, but more like earthy.
Some sort of citrus, burnt citrus in the end there.
Yeah, a little bit of orange peels that have been sitting on a candle. Yeah, it's different.
Really light sherry. Like Blair Athol has a reputation for being like the big sherry contribution to a lot of blends, and this is much more delicate for them. It's very surprising.
Now, was this like a first fill sherry, or was it like
Probably
can't
not.
be? It can't be, right?
Probably not.
It's
There's
a
no
batch
way.
of 4,500, which is for sherry probably means what, 10 casks, 9 casks ish, depending on how full they were. So it's going to be a mix of things, but for it to come out this light, they all had to be of a kind.
Right.
Like you probably didn't put them in a bunch of like first. I would think not first fill. Like this reads as more delicate, lighter sherry influence than that.
Right. And when we were there, they did talk about recharging the barrels with additional sherry after they'd used it a couple of times as well.
Right.
So yeah, they get the most they can out of those barrels.
So maybe it's from a recharged barrel.
Could well be.
Which really tells a story that it doesn't have to be first fill. Even a recharged, will really produce great
Can
juice.
still be very good. Yeah. Oh,
It's great. It's a moth.
it's a moth.
That's lovely.
So why'd you come in? The light was on. Norm Peterson. Wait, not Norm Peterson.
No, Norm Macdonald.
Norm Macdonald.
Thank you.
R.I.P.
I'm watching too much
I love
Cheers.
the fact that it was a super long joke too, leading.
Yeah,
up to
because
that
he
comment.
didn't
That was the
have
whole point.
anything. That was
the whole.
point.
That was
Yep.
so good.
Yep.
So what's
What's next?
We should probably move forward.
We should probably move forward.
Shall
Yeah,
we
give him the
move
time.
We have
forward?
to drink 5 of these. We do have to.
We have to.
force ourselves against
For
our
you, the viewer.
against our wills.
Blair Athol goes down. Next up.
Oh.
So
Bowmore.
let's head southwest a bit to Islay. You can't go to Scotland without visiting Islay.
You can't.
We might get back there later on, but for the moment, we're going to the largest town in Ireland, town of Bowmore. There's a distillery there. Forget what it's called.
Bowmore.
But
Bowmore.
this is,
Called Bowmore.
I struggle, like, I first heard it as Bowmore, emphasis on the first syllable. When I was there, I think the emphasis is on the second syllable. So
Bowmore.
many people, Bowmore.
Definitely.
And so
Just like,
I'm still
you know,
trying to
Port
retrain
Ellen.
myself
I didn't
to
know
do that.
till now that Bowmore was on Islay. Like I didn't know that. Like I know,
Right,
you know,
because
I
it's
just
somewhat
I didn't know that.
uncharacteristic for Islay. Like it's peated, but they have a very light hand with it, as opposed to some of their neighbors who have a pretty heavy hand with it.
Well, yeah,
The heaviest hands.
we like those hands. I fucking love heavy Pete hands.
Yeah. Fair enough. But so this one's also a marriage of casks. It's one of 3,000 bottles. They provide a lot more information about it. It's a mixture of bourbon, sherry, and wine casks.
Okay.
And so there's a lot going on in here. 17 years old, which means it's a minimum of 17 years for those casks. Some may have been older, we don't know, but we know the baseline was 17 years. And bottled at 51.3. So we're getting a little stronger.
Kind of the darkest one that we have in the lineup today.
Now,
Nice color.
oh, that smells quite smoky. Like at first I got the sherry, but then I got the peaty smoke coming around the back. Yeah, that smells. This smells like like those rubber inflatable pool toys.
Yes.
This reminds me of like a
Yes.
Lefroy, like that. The nose,
That kind of peat. Yeah.
has that same sort of like rubbery peat. Wow. So I'm assuming this isn't like typical of a Bowmore.
Bowmore is one of those distilleries that I don't know what their typical is, because it seems like for a number of years they all had this like heavy lavender note that I wasn't a huge fan of. These days that seems to be gone. There always seems to be, and I'm not really good at distinguishing them, but with some peat whiskeys or peated whiskeys, you recognize the peat, and in some you only recognize the smoke. With Bowmore, I find the smoke,
Yeah.
and I don't find that sort of classic peat smell.
Like this
Although
is
my sense of smell, others, your mileage may vary.
I get this as a campfire in the morning. So it's smoldered all night and it's just basically charcoal now.
I get it as like you took all the like it's the air above the campfire and used it to inflate a brand new pool pool toy, and now you're blowing the air out of it, so you get that pool toy and the like that fresh,
Can you
rubbery.
explain to me the tool you use to grab the air above the campfire?
It's called a quig locker.
Oh,
Yeah, or in Scottish, quig locker.
Is there a Gaelic term for that?
Quig locker.
there's a question in the chat here. What can you tell us about the Bowmore barley and how do they dry it? Well, they dry it in a kiln, don't they?
They dry it in a kiln.
Is that unusual?
No, it's
very, very traditional.
but they let people go and walk in their kiln,
Yeah.
which is very unusual.
If you go on the tour, you might get to visit the kiln up close and personal, which is odd at best. But
and roll around and make barley angels. And
I'm gonna taste this while you guys are telling the story.
those people that buy the 2028 Bowmore 10-year-old, sorry, our butts have been in that.
In case you were wondering,
This is your favorite whiskey?
yes, this is my favorite whiskey.
That's not surprising.
Oh my god, that's so good.
get a little bit of orange.
Yeah.
Ashy? Yeah. Okay, I'm going. You guys can handle it.
Yeah, I feel like that burnt citrus from the previous one is like that's kind of more predominant here. I get a sense of like marmalade that's been caramelized. It's like
Like how on earth did they smoke a marmalade?
Yeah,
I didn't know that was an option.
yeah.
I have to learn more about this cooking thing.
It's like smoked marmalade. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we never
Like,
asked.
I don't know if you smoke the oranges first and then make the marmalade, or you do something after you've
I mean,
made
you
the
have to like caramelize the oranges, I think, and then make the marmalade. But this is more like orange peel. More than there's some orange in there, but there's also just a lot of orange peel in here.
Okay.
But I guess marmalade does have orange peel in it, right?
I would think so.
We never asked that about the previous whiskey. Just
Oh no.
It's all
What
good.
are you?
Are you there?
Yeah, give us your rundown.
Yeah, so this is going back to the previous one. Definitely on the nose. I definitely got a cherry cough syrup, which is something I probably get on every single Blair Athol I have ever nosed. So no surprises there. The taste for me was a little funky, good funk, and green olives, like the brine that green olives sit in. And then the finish it was a weird finish. Like for me, it tasted like the smell of money. Like that's what it was. And then after I added water to that, it tasted like it became savory and tasted like corned beef hash. So
Do you mean money that's like when you get money and it's like freshly printed, like you go to the bank and you get like those? Is that what you're talking about? Like that sort of?
yeah. Like I don't know how to describe it. It's like a certain like woolen inky pressed smell.
Yeah, because that's what I was thinking of. It smells like that when you go to the bank and they give you bills that are clearly freshly printed and they've just gotten into your hand and they kind of smell printy. How about the Bowmore? What do you think about this?
I'm trying to dissect it. I definitely agree with you. Like rubber, pool toys, nail head, boom, perfect. Past that, I was getting some like cedar pencils or cedar planks that were coming through. And then the taste for me so far, it's charred wood, which is hard to describe. Like it's not charred food, but like charred wood. Like if you stuck like a stick over a campfire and chewed on that, or used it to like
Roast a marshmallow and you're getting some of that off.
Yeah.
I would even say charred pencil because I feel like I'm tasting a bit of the carbon or like the inside of the pencil.
Graphite?
Yeah, like it feels like you took a pencil and you stuck it in a campfire and then sucked on it.
Yeah, there is that note of pencil shavings in there somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, man, I love Thad's tasting notes.
Cough drops marinating in a fire. Nice,
Jack
nice.
Frost nipping at your nose.
A little early for that.
Is it?
A little bit of peace.
Thanksgiving was yesterday.
Yeah, fair enough.
at the bottom of your glass.
Time to put up the lights.
Time to put up the lights.
Oh, hey, behind our whiskey note cam.
Yeah, look at that. Festive.
Festive.
Yeah, once again, like I don't want to science this.
No.
It reminds me of all the best parts of Lefroy.
Thank you,
You
for
know,
the reminder, though.
Like it's because it's not like Lefroy can kind of hit you over the head, and this is like has
This
all
is a
those
real
nice,
subtle version of that. Yeah.
it has all those nice smoky things going on without like going like.
But also, I fucking love whiskey.
Oh,
It's delightful.
oh, look at that! Look at this!
What's going on?
I fucking love whiskey. It's right there.
Oh. Right in the glass. Wow.
Yeah, I could just. Yeah, I'm sure this is going to be with every whiskey in this
That's my
lineup,
favorite
but I
whiskey.
could just sit here in this nose. What do you have to say? You know?
Water doesn't seem to have affected the nose much for me.
Okay, good.
If anything, it seemed to have quieted down a bit, which is very uncharacteristic for adding a drop.
I find that more often than not in doing our science. The nose kind of gets chased.
I think it's just like it's such an outlier that we always remember it, because it does seem weird. Because I think it's. I wouldn't say it's more often than not. I'd say
really?
it's less than half.
Okay.
That the nose disappears, but it is always surprising when that happens. How's it taste? What do you think? Should we try it?
He's stuck. Wait.
Oh,
Mm.
Jim is speechless.
He's tasty.
I'll agree with Jim. Like, water does something different.
All right.
Like, for me, like, the water brought out more woodiness, which I like, and something sweet, but like a juicy fruit. Like watermelon, maybe. Like, I don't know. It's hard.
Yeah, so the notes on this one were
Oh.
it was a combination of bourbon, sherry, and wine casks. With the water, I can find more of those in there.
I can find more of the wine almost immediately.
That's what I was gonna
like
say,
The
the
wine,
wine is- yeah.
immediately became prominent. It's like, oh, that's fun.
That's neat. Yeah.
Which is weird, 'cause that's
immediately,
like one
wow.
drop of water.
Yep.
That makes no sense to me.
It is like a magic trick. I
The
love it when
stuff's
you
all
put water in
balanced
it.
on
It's
the
like,
edge of a
yeah.
knife.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I love it when you put water in and it's like, surprising.
the nose is there. It just sort of. I wonder if you add the drop of water and then just let it sit for a half hour to develop.
It's bigger. It's more effervescent on the tongue with water.
I like it better with water.
Wow.
I really liked it before, but this is right now I do. I mean, I could change my mind tomorrow.
Someone has relit that campfire, and now it's on my tongue.
I do feel like someone has thrown a giant like Jolly Rancher log onto the campfire. Like,
Where are those available again?
Jolly Rancher log store.
Okay, right.
Oh, okay. I thought you were shopping someplace weird.
No. Standard Jolly Rancher log store.
Oh my gosh.
And I don't know if the water was the cause of this, but it keeps building and coating the inside of my mouth more and more and more with each sip.
Yeah, that definitely is more like it. There's a coating. Yeah, for
The
sure.
finish it seems longer with
Yeah.
water.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's so.
It's like it's oilier.
Right.
With water.
Which is weird.
That's
So, like,
totally
that's,
weird.
that's not how it's supposed to work.
That shouldn't.
I think Joseph and I were remiss in not being thankful enough for you, Jim, on Thanksgiving. So I just want to pass along my thanks.
Oh, you're very welcome. But no, this is lunch. It's lovely to share with you guys. I know you appreciate it. Because I keep hearing that you guys really like whiskey.
No, that's
we're-
incorrect. That's
Yeah,
incorrect.
that's not right.
That's not right.
That isn't true.
We do not like whiskey.
Resoundingly fond of whiskey.
You're edging closer. As the chat would say, we chicken love whiskey.
We love chicken whiskey.
I'm still the chicken whiskey, like other than the obvious, like, oh, I hate to sacrifice some whiskey to cooking, but if I were, a whiskey chicken would probably be fun.
Oh, pretty good. But I would use a core range whiskey. I wouldn't use one of these distillery exclusives. They're too.
The remote
Correct.
audience is also a thing.
Oh, good. Chicken with a whiskey blaze. Yeah, tipsy asparagus. Now you're cooking with whiskey.
Smells like a lie.
I think when we were saying that we fucking loved whiskey. I don't know.
Anything you want to add to this, Thad? This one?
No. I don't know. I'm torn on this one because I'd probably drink it again with a drop of water, to see what else is in there.
Right.
I like Jim's idea of letting it sit too for a bit.
Like, the only thing past is that maybe there's like a little like sourness on the finish because of the water, but like it's not bad, right? It's like
Right. It's different.
I wasn't mad at the sourness.
Yeah.
but it's like what is it? Granny Smith apple sourness, like that kind of like tartness. Maybe
Bit of
not
tart.
sourness, but tartness.
Yeah.
Kind of like Granny Smith.
Just like Granny Smith. She's very tart.
Yeah. Not her apples, just her. Have you guys ever eaten a cranberry? Like just a raw cranberry?
I have not.
They're very tart. Really too tart. But it's
Scale 1 to 10, how tart?
11.
Wow.
So very tart.
Yeah, because I made cranberries for Thanksgiving. I've never done that before. And, I had like fresh cranberries. And I was like, well, I have to try one.
Sure.
And it's like, oh, this is why these are cooked with like some sugar. Because it's just like, yeah, it's like taking a sip of alum.
What's the ratio of sugar to cranberry in a cranberry sauce?
Well, you can put like, I think the standard recipe is you put like a cup of sugar in for like whatever the regular amount of cranberries you make is
For each cranberry?
But I put in only like a quarter cup. Yeah, a cup of sugar for each cranberry.
That
Yeah,
sounds
just
right.
checking.
But like you get a bag of rice and it's like, this is like, or like a bag of beans and usually cook the whole bag. That's what you do with cranberries, I think. So
Okay.
it's like 2 or 3 cups, I think. Anyway, screw that. Let's talk about whiskey.
Sorry, whiskey.
All right. Are you guys ready to continue the journey?
Oh, yes.
think
Oh,
we
yes,
are.
we
I
are.
think
Oh,
we
yes,
are.
I
I think we are.
We're very
So-
much so.
Let's head north
Okay.
up to Speyside,
Oh, what?
and we're going to visit Aberlour.
Oh, we like Aberlour.
Aberlour is wonderful. Like, absolutely charming little building in the village of Aberlour, I believe.
It is.
I don't know how they do these naming conventions, but it's pretty easy to keep track of where the distilleries are. But yeah, so the River Spey runs through Speyside, not altogether surprisingly, and various tributaries come in and meet the River Spey. And the word Aber in Gaelic is, as I understand it, meeting place. And so Aberlour is where the Lour meets the Spey. Aberfeldy is where the Feldy meets the Spey. And so as these tributaries come in, the distilleries pocketed along there. I only know the 2 Abers, but if there are more, it wouldn't surprise me if they're next to a little stream named with the other part.
Well, and just like Glen means valley, and so Glenfiddich is the valley of the River Fiddich.
The more I hear about all this, I mean, the way, like Gaelic, like connects to these names, the more I realize like why Tolkien named everything the way he did. You know what I mean? Like, because that's all like all
There,
of his
there
stuff
is an
is
underlying theme,
Oh, yeah.
and once you become aware of the theme, you're like, oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the way they named everything there is they walked around and looked and went, that's a mountain. Let's call it Nevis. Okay. What's this place called? Ben Nevis.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, Speysides have been like, because normally I've been into Isla for like the beginning of my whiskey journey, but right now Speysides are like where it's at for me. Like I'm really getting into them.
There's a lot of fun Speysides.
Yeah.
Aberlour has a special place in my heart, just because like early on I was introduced to Abuna, which is just a massive sherry bomb. The whiskey we're about to taste is not that.
Boo then. Boo.
Well, yeah, no, it's
No,
quite.
no.
I would be surprised. It's quite pale, right?
It's quite
So,
pale, but
yeah.
but this is bourbon casks rather than sherry casks. And when we were there, we did a tasting, and they had a lineup of some of their core range and some of the Abuna and some of this. And in our group, this was the standout. Like this was the one that caught everybody's attention. Of one, it's not your typical Aberlour. But two, it was really, really good on its own. It's like, oh, these guys are good with or without the sherry. They know what they're doing. But yeah, so they describe it. Oop, show the bottle. So they describe it as the hand-filled bottle number 467 of we don't know how many. They're kind of cagey with that. It's labeled as batch A16. They clearly had a bunch. 467 bottles means it's got to be more than, like, if it were a single bourbon cask, they'd never get to that number.
Right.
So it's obviously multiple bourbon casks combined to make this. Wonderful color, though.
Yeah.
Like, I love that. It reminded me not of the Aberlour Abuna, but if you've had the Abuna Alba, which is a bourbon cask from those folks, it's much more in that range. So this is bottled at 58.1%.
Yes, it is.
And it's a 13-year-old bourbon. So
Happy 13th birthday, whiskey.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh boy.
and I get pears on the nose right away.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like slightly fermented pears.
Mm-hmm.
Pears, but with like
It's like I like this. It's interesting because it's like this is one of those whiskeys I would call a candy store whiskey, but this isn't a candy store. It's like a fruit stand.
Mhm.
Like you think it's a candy store, but it's like a fruit stand, and all of the fruits have been cut, and you can smell them.
I feel like they're sitting on top of like wood chips or something though. Wood shavings.
Yeah. This is like the flavors, the natural, amazing flavors that Jolly Rancher candies would get their flavor from. Like Jolly Ranchers taste artificial and delicious, but this is like if there was like a watermelon that you cut open that like actually tasted like, Jolly Rancher watermelons, but in a natural, healthy way. Oh man, that smells so good.
It's my favorite whiskey.
It's my favorite whiskey. You haven't tasted it yet. It's my favorite whiskey. This is like, if I was going to build a house, there'd be no house. It'd just be like a grove of various fruits.
This bottle only lasts me a year, so I'm really impressed you managed to hang on to it for this long.
It's because I drank a lot of yours.
Because Jim fucking loves whiskey. I fucking love Andrew's whiskey.
I do too. I understand why.
Oh gosh. Like I don't even want to taste it almost.
Oh,
You
you
going in?
really do.
Okay.
I'm gonna go
I
in.
know, but okay. Oh man. I know I said when I was nosing it, this is my favorite whiskey, but this is really my favorite whiskey. That is so good.
This surprise sweetness in the middle of that. I can't place it. I don't know what's going on.
Right. There, it's a fruit juice to me, but I don't know exactly which fruit.
Right.
Something lighter, not cranberry.
It's not cranberry, no.
No.
It's not that tart.
But
And
and not as something as straightforward as apple. Like there's a sweet.
Pear.
It's almost like pomegranate, maybe. Because there's a bit of tartness. But like a lighter pomegranate. Like if there was like a pale yellow pomegranate, I feel like that's what it would taste like. Because it's not pear. Pear is like, I don't know.
I'm getting something more in the nose now that I've tasted it.
Yeah.
Like an eraser.
Oh, a bee.
A bee?
A bee.
Oh, a bee going after the He's going after the camera now. If you see a giant insect in a moment.
Yeah, it is as large as it appears.
Yeah.
Wow, it's like nighttime. Why is there a bee out? Poor bee, he's lost. I guess she's lost.
Trying to go through the Stargate.
Yeah,
This is like one of those whiskeys. I just want this to last forever. Like I know we have 2 amazing whiskeys ahead of us, but I
Oh,
just
we
want
can skip those.
Right. As long as you keep pouring this.
Tanis is saying it tastes like a kiwi to him.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, because it's kind of got that raspberry. Because for me, kiwis always kind of taste like a raspberry, but like a lighter version of a raspberry. I don't know. What does Thad think? He probably can nail it.
Oh yeah.
Legs on it. Too.
I think the B is coming because it's a fruit juice, you know. But as far as as far as I'm gonna go, I'm sorry to let you all down. First off, I'm gonna start off with this. Is that this? I don't say this often, but this is my favorite whiskey. So
How are you letting us down with that?
Yeah, no,
Really?
I thought
I'm
he was gonna
surprised
say
by
he
that.
hated it.
I know, but because I can't nail down the taste because what I think it tastes like, y'all disagreed with. But anyways, like on the nose for me, it is a little bit artificial. Like it is candy, like Skittles or Starburst, like those really fruit forward candies. But like for me, that's what it is, and pears nails on the head. As far as the taste go, for me, like it's like if you took pear and apple juice and you mix them together, like that's just what it
Apple
is
juice?
for me.
Yeah.
But the finish for me, it's quick and it doesn't last, which is a little bit of a letdown. But
Yeah.
you know, it's kind of like one of those things where after you let it sit for a while, like it's like really good lemonade. It makes you want to take another sip. Like after a minute, your mouth starts to like be like, I need more of this.
Jim's rushing to science it.
Right?
Like he just
Well,
grabbed
it's
no,
like-
when I get to a certain amount left, I better do it now, or I'm never going to have the chance.
Yeah. See, that's where I like to go too far and then never have the chance.
Have you ever scienced this? Have either of you ever
I have never scienced this.
Okay.
No, I am out on the ledge now, facing imminent doom.
We shall see. We shall see.
Nose seems a little quieter.
Hmm.
Like the pear was really apparent to me, and now it seems different. Now it's a little grassier.
Hmm.
Like that damp hay kind of thing you get. I'm not much for the nose on whiskeys. I struggle with finding specific notes.
It's definitely a lot quieter with water. A weird note that popped out to me was chili.
Interesting.
Really?
Like what specifically about chili? Like just chili powder or like cumin or beans?
No, like
Santiago.
you go into a restaurant, it's a cold, wet day, and you're like, I just need something to warm me up, and they don't have whiskey on the menu, so you're like, I want a bowl of chili.
Oh, I turn around and go out.
Yeah. that restaurant is not worth. Yeah.
I mean, there are limits.
That story was shit. Who would stay in a restaurant that didn't have whiskey?
It's fiction. Come on.
Yeah.
He's telling a story.
I like chili too. Yeah. I used to make chili all the time.
I like jelly. It's just chili
Chili's
or
like-
whiskey just seems like no.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah.
Sophie's choice. That one. Sorry. You
Well,
want
you
to think
wouldn't
of that
have
one?
them at the same time because chili is such a strong flavor. I feel like you wouldn't want it with
Right,
whiskey.
no.
Right.
Chili's like the ultimate comfort food. Really. So chili, would you say we should science it or no? What do you think?
I don't think, like, if you don't want to waste it, don't do it. But as I am the way I am, I say you science everything at least once. This is one of the things where if you have leftover stuff, it wouldn't be terrible to science. But if this is all you have, don't waste it.
Thank you for sciencing it then.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do not have your weird compunction to science everything.
Yeah. In the grand scheme of things, I'd say no.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I thank you for taking the hit on
it's
that.
fine just as it is.
Maria Kino is now hungry. Arinco. Maria Orinco. which means sun in some language. It's not Marie, it's Maria. I'm seeing double. It's Finnish. Okay. You're Finnish.
We're
Are
all
you finished?
finished.
You're
We're all
finished,
we're all
yeah.
finished.
Oh,
this is so good.
Welcome to I Fucking Love Whiskey.
This is our theme song.
This is our theme song.
We fucking love
We
whiskey.
fucking love
We
whiskey.
love
We fucking love whiskey.
We're still workshopping it.
Boop.
Jim already learned this song.
I think we nailed it though. I think that was
No,
it.
that was a good tip.
One take and done. Oh man, this is so good.
Oh boy, yeah. I'm not sciencing this, and I may never go off of this. I might just sit here in the nose.
Cool. Hand over the other two.
Oh no, I'm okay. I'll finish.
Actually, I take it back. Don't science it. This completely destroyed the grapefruit stand and the taste for me. I go back on my recommendation.
You said grapefruit sand in the finish.
The
Grapefruit
Sorry.
and finish.
Grapefruit stand.
grapefruit stand.
Oh, I almost got it.
Yeah.
Right.
I totally heard grapefruit the first time.
Come over to the grapefruit stand. Have yourself a fresh grapefruit.
Pamplemousse?
Pamplemousse.
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 Pamplemousse, that was it.
And if you ever pamplemousse, you know how fun that can be. Oh,
I mean, that's so outstanding. I feel like that's. I mean,
is
these are all my
amazing.
favorite whiskey. That I mean, so far my most favorite of today for sure.
Lovely.
So,
Absolutely lovely.
oh my gosh.
all right, two more though. There's
Oh,
two
you
more.
guys are going. I got some left. I
Two
don't want
more.
to.
No, take your time. Take
Two
your
more.
You know what? No, here's what I can do.
Yeah,
I can come
here,
back to
Put a
that.
cap on it.
I can come back to that. And look at this. Here's another dark one.
Yeah. What is this? Like a sherry cask? Maybe.
Can you put up the whiskey hero cam again?
No.
Oh.
Hey,
Oh,
you abruptly made the transition. I was taking a sip of water thinking I had a moment.
jeepers.
All right.
This is the part of the I Fucking Love Whiskey where we annoy our guests.
So the whole show, really.
No, you started much earlier.
Hurtful.
But accurate.
All right. So we were in Speyside. Let's keep going north, up to the Orkney Isles. So if you go all the way up, sort of the western edge of the mainland, you take the ferry across to an island, which the largest of the Orkney Isles, which they refer to as mainland, which is super confusing.
I always thought it was the Orkney Island. I didn't know they were all
Yeah,
called
they
the
call
Orkney
it
Isles.
mainland.
I
They
missed
call
that.
The-
Orkney
the-
Island mainland,
No, there are many Orkney Islands.
but the main one they call it mainland.
The largest one, the town of Kirkwall, is
Kirkwall?
on it.
It's like a big
They
town.
call mainland, which is super confusing because, a couple miles away, Scotland. So very confusing. But beautiful place. Heavy Viking influence, windswept. Holy cow, windswept. Trees struggle to grow there because it is just so windy, but it's gorgeous.
What about barley?
It all grows sideways. But yeah, so when you get up to the Orkney Isles, you get two distilleries, Scapa and Highland Park. So this is a Highland Park. They label it as Cask Strength.
And Highland Park is pretty well known, right? I mean, you see
Yeah.
that, pretty much everywhere, right?
Yeah,
And
their core range appears in a lot of places.
It's like a
and
Macau-
I
like Macau,
love
right? It's like-
their core range.
Mhm.
This was an eye opener for me because I think this was the first time that I had a single cask of theirs.
Yeah, I've never even heard of a single cask. of
And
Highland
yeah,
Park.
but they realized they're onto something, and so they've made them a little bit more available. So you're starting to see more and more Highland Park single casks appearing in, like decent whiskey shops. So,
I noticed someone signed this bottle though.
well, that was just they make you sign it to make sure it doesn't appear on eBay, or if it does, they can track it back to you.
Can you just smear that off?
Yeah, totally. Although they make you sign it with Sharpie. So
But who would sell?
Who would sell it,
Well, you
right?
Can you just like?
well, you haven't tasted it yet. You might want to shed this very quickly. You know, you don't know if it's going to be good.
You know,
Jim, knowing you, I'd be really surprised. Like, I brought 3 good whiskeys and 1 crap whiskey.
Two crap.
Will be. I don't know. I didn't know. I don't want to know if the last one's crap. I don't
Well,
care.
you'll
Even
see.
if it's crap, I fucking love whiskey.
But yeah, so we're finally at the point where we know that it's a single cask. This is 1 bottle out of 572. It was first fill sherry oak puncheon.
you would think with the color.
With that color,
Yeah,
it's sort of
no.
hard to mistake that for anything else.
Yeah.
Like,
Sorry, I can't see a card. Are you holding a card behind it?
does the color read? Yeah, okay.
Really dark.
I do kind of want to show everybody the how small you wrote those notes. Like, I want to
fair enough.
if you don't mind, I kind of want people to see. Like, I mean, you must have amazing eyes because
Oh no, I have
like,
terrible
look at-
eyes.
look
That's
at-
why I'm wearing
you're-
the glasses.
You like it's like you pulled like a jeweler's loop out. You're like, and now I will write my notes for the show.
For this, I would have 2
honest-
pages of notes.
Honestly, this is huge for me. Like, I normally write much smaller than that.
How is that possible? Are you like a microfiche inscriber for the government? Like, is that your other job?
No. I just hate wasting ink
or paper, yes.
or paper.
Okay, fair
No, I'm
enough.
still on my first sheet, so that's good.
Okay.
But yeah, so this is cask number 1938. It's a 15-year-old, as I said, first fill sherry oak puncheon, bottled at 60.3.
Oh,
So-
here we go.
60 is monstrous, and yet, you know, we'll see how it holds up.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
there. it
Yet
is,
another
yeah.
one of my favorite whiskeys.
Yeah, there it is.
Like, this is what sherry is meant to be.
Yeah.
Melting.
Yeah, I realize every time I say something is a candy store whiskey, it's really usually a sherry whiskey, but like the last one, which was a bourbon cask, was not, you know. So, and I definitely would call that like it was more of a fruit store, but it was also like it's in that area, you know. Man,
Wow.
just taking a sniff of this is like eating a delicious dessert from some, you know, French bakery, something that's covered in caramel and filled with like, you know, heavy cream,
Yeah, creme
or
fraiche
custard,
or something.
you know, something real sweet.
We look really washed out.
Well,
Very pale.
Well, I'm always this
Oh, okay.
not a
pale.
lot
You
of
guys
light here.
usually look healthier.
Maybe too much light?
I don't know.
There's only the 12 dozen lights up here. I don't know why.
That's gross.
12 dozen?
Oh, good joke. Math joke. A unit joke? What is it? Measurement joke? No.
Quantity joke?
Metric joke?
It's not a quality joke. It's a quantity joke.
Brooke Lassie is also putting a thorn in someone's side, saying, "How long does it take to get to the Orkney Ferry from, say, Glencoe?"
I feel like there's a hidden story there.
Well, if you have car trouble and you have to make the ferry at a very specific time, it takes as long as you have. If you have an hour, it takes an hour. If you have an hour and a half, it takes an hour and a half. No, but it's a pretty long run from the Valley of Glencoe, which is gorgeous. If you visit Scotland, go to Glencoe, you will not be disappointed. To get a sample, watch the movie Skyfall, and when they drive up into the upper reaches of Scotland, some of it was filmed in Glencoe, and it's just beautiful.
This to me also, like there's a bit of like citrus in there. I almost want to say like starfruit, like in the very back
I
of
don't
the
know
nose.
starfruit.
It's a
Wow.
tart. It's a tart fruit. Yeah, it's just a tartness in the back. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna taste it.
Some delicious stuff up front here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh man, yep. Like, I love Highland Park anyway, but this is a wonderful expression of it. Like, I don't know how often they do sherry. Like maybe it's sort of always in there, but subtle. This is much more forward, but it's like, oh, it works. It totally works.
Wow. I can completely see the warehouseman going and tasting this and going, we're gonna bottle this cask on its own.
Yeah.
It's like such a deep, rich, just like it's like the the bow of a ship, like that wood that's down there. It's been removed, and a ship that that carries rum back and forth. Like it's just I don't know. Like it's just
it's older than that.
It's like
This is a
timber.
Viking ship.
Yeah. Mead. It carries mead back
There
and
you
forth.
go. There you go.
Yeah, the honeyed
That is
thing in the nose. Oh my gosh.
Thad, what's your story with this?
Honestly, I've been nosing this and I just now tasted it. For me, on the nose, I love it. Takes me back to college when I used to do whitewater kayaking. Like right off the nose, like got some rapids. Got like you were hiking up a mountain with a kayak on your back, like about to set it in the water and go down. Like really, really great memory for me. And then like letting it sit a little while, like I definitely agree with like that woody boat. Like it's a tough wood. Like a wood, like if you were to hit it, it would punch you back. Like like that kind of wood. And like the finish for me is a little sweet. Like kind of like not sweet, no, sweet tarts. Not Smarties. Yeah, sweet tarts. So it's kind of going between sweet and tart, like on the finish. And as far as the taste, definitely a little of an ease. It's very fiery and there's something sweet in there. Don't want to say caramel or butterscotch, but like some like sugar that's been dissolved in water and it's on the way of being candied, and it's not taffy either. I don't know.
It's like almond roca, right? It's like for me, it's like that darker, crunchier. It's kind of like toffee, but my mom used to make almond roca.
Like some almond stick that goes with an espresso, that kind of
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scotty
sort
or
of
something.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, this is my favorite whiskey. Thad, this I don't know how this can't be your favorite whiskey.
I mean, the other one was the previous, like, this is great, but that Aberlour was.
This is the first one where I'm really curious what a drop of water will do to it. But it's too early. I still have a little much left. I'm going to wait for it. But
I feel like with the stronger whiskeys, I'm more interested to like put water in.
yeah, because it's not going to bring them down a lot, but it is going to change the chemistry a bit. And there's fun things to explore in there, just watching it dance around.
Yeah, Thad, I also love when, for me, it's one of my favorite things when someone's tasting note is like, this reminds me of specific memory. Like that's, I don't know, I really enjoy that.
Yeah. I'm going to try it now. Oh, there's something. What is that? I just had it. Oh, like a dark chocolate cake. The bittersweetness, that bitter chocolate, cooking chocolate.
Yeah, like
Baking
cooking
chocolate.
Yeah, baking chocolate.
I put water in. I did it, folks. Darth Brunch is feeling these tasting notes.
Yeah,
Feeling them.
yeah, you are.
Lovely.
Yeah, it is lovely.
Absolutely lovely.
Jim, thank you so much for bringing these.
Hey, it's Thanksgiving.
These are great whiskeys.
I'm glad you like them.
I do.
I had zero to do with making them.
But 100% to do with choosing them.
Yeah. And sharing
Packing them in your suitcase around Scotland. Smuggling them into
the
paying proper duty, bringing them into the country.
Duty.
And we've now entered that segment of the program.
We started.
Now
there.
we started.
really
yeah,
started.
It's almost there. I kind of like the nose with
Right,
water. I
yeah,
feel like it's opened
yeah.
up even more.
Oh yeah, no, the nose is wonderful.
Dusty bedspread.
Right.
Just that Sunday morning you've slept in till like 10 or 11, and the comforter's on top of you. There's a little bit of dust in the air. You can see it kind of floating in the sunbeam, and you're just super comfortable. That's what that nose is.
So you're not on Orkney, because one of my memories of Orkney
Wasn't sun
well,
or dust?
yeah,
settling?
well, sun, definitely sun. So I mentioned windswept. Trees
Yeah.
struggle, which means there are no trees between you and the North Sea. There is nothing on the North Sea between you and the horizon. So when the sun comes up at like 4:02, it is God's flashlight in your eyes, and you're like, oh, okay, I guess we're awake now.
Oh yeah.
Bring your own
It's
blackout
my
curtains.
favorite whiskey.
No, the nose, I really like it with water.
Yeah, no, the water definitely
Have not-
opens up this nose in lovely directions.
What does it do to the flavor?
Don't know yet.
I like
Oh.
it.
Great to look.
Ad and Andrew say yes.
I would say yes to water. Like,
I would say yes.
this is very, very, very rare of me to say, but I would probably just add a drop of water to it if I were to pour it. Like, I'm sorry, Highland Park, I love your stuff, I do. Like, I just ran out of the Magnus, but like with water, this is definitely yes. Like, it's so good with a drop of water. Like, the nose opens up a little bit, get a little bit more notes, and the flavor on the taste, it just explodes with a drop of water.
I feel like it.
I'm
yeah,
with you. I'm
that's-
with you.
That's
It's
60%.
amazing.
Like,
That umami flavor at the end of it. It's that total mouth-filling, wonderful kind of. Oh, I want more of this. It's that with water.
it's like
What?
Like,
Oh, he didn't follow through with it. He teased me.
it's like like a roasted mushroom, like dipped in like really, really dark caramel, like caramel that has been almost burnt.
Okay, which doesn't sound great, but with whiskey notes, yeah, it's spot on.
I mean, my favorite thing so far, I think, was the the pool toy, right? I mean,
Who doesn't love a good pool toy, though?
especially when it's filled with campfire smoke.
Using the quibble cheese.
You got it.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Just trying to learn my vocabulary.
Yeah.
Yeah. We.
Mm,
Oh dear. Yeah, bravo.
Good job, Highland Park. I'd like to have some more single casks from you.
they're doing good things. Yeah, and I've been seeing more single cask offerings. Like, if you fly, check duty free. They pop up occasionally.
Duty.
Depending on where you are, like some whiskey retailers are starting to get exclusive single casks from them. They wind up getting packaged in like a very reddish burlap bag, and so you can spot them on the shelves. And I think they're only using that packaging for their single casks.
All right.
They're not common, but they're out there, and so you have a chance.
This is the astonishing thing, is that I don't think I've ever experienced that kind of coating of the tongue, umami, like finish in a whiskey like that before. And just discovering that with water. Wow. I want more of this.
Did you hear that?
It's worth a try.
Someone over there was like, "No."
Well, thanks.
I mean, it's up to Jim,
I know.
Maybe.
but we do have
But we do have another whiskey.
One
on
more
offer,
whiskey.
so-
And we're generally at time, but we're going a little over. I'm letting the affiliates know.
Here's the thing, Andrew.
What?
I fucking love whiskey.
That's a good point. I had not considered that point when I was talking, and I apologize.
by a staggering margin, it's my favorite beverage.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoy it.
It's so magic. It's so magical. It really is.
I finished that.
Yeah.
And with water, it is remarkable.
Yeah.
So
No, I'm with you, Thad. Like the water, I'm not usually one to mess with what the distilleries produced. The one drop among friends is maybe okay.
Yeah, and I feel like you have a better, like at like 60%, when you get up there, like there's more wiggle room to kind of, I feel like when something is like a lower ABV, then they've already kind of put water in it or like sorted it to the point where it's like, this is the flavor it's going to be, I don't know. Wow. I feel great right now.
me too. And I 100% agree with you. There's something about tasting it outdoors, which is so amazing. It just adds so much more to the whiskey.
Yeah.
I want to do all the shows outside as long as we can here in California.
Yeah,
because it's
dude,
so
I like
cold.
it better.
Oh,
I
so
like it better.
forever.
Oh, it's so
Till it
cold.
gets
Look,
too
I'm
hot.
wearing a scarf.
You're half-heartedly wearing a scarf.
What a Doctor Who
It's not like it's wrapped up around your neck or
I
anything.
have to like represent for the nerds,
Tom Baker, my favorite Who.
Is he?
Who?
Not
My
David
favorite
Tennant?
Doctor. Nope.
All right.
I mean, I hated Canine, but
Wow.
I know, right? Well, that's where I was.
All right, so we're done.
What? No. I believe Jim has one more whiskey for us to taste.
No, but we already visited Isla,
Oh, we did. Yeah. Okay, so we're done.
so we're done.
Okay. Well, everybody,
Thanks.
I fucking love whiskey. Jim is a cheapskate. And oh, what? No.
All right, fine.
Wow.
So, because of the ABV, we couldn't really do the geography perfectly.
Right.
Because the last whiskey is well above the other four. So we're returning to Isla to possibly my favorite distillery.
Oh, I'm there. It's my favorite. Ardbeg.
I go
Bloody-
I feel like, wasn't it going to be reveal? Oh wait, it's not our bag.
So yeah, I go back and forth like Ardbeg, Bruichladdich, Ardbeg, because I
Really
love
like
them
Port
both.
Charlotte.
I love them both, but I have to be in different moods. Like Ardbeg is my extrovert, Bruichladdich is my introvert, and so today we're going to my introverted side.
Right.
Really out of character. No, that's. But so
Computer programmer.
yeah, exactly. I prefer hanging out with computers to be.
Hey, Mo 103.
So we're back to Isla. We're at Bruichladdich, and they release under 3 different names depending on the peat level. So there's Bruichladdich, Port Charlotte, and Octomore. Bruichladdich is unpeated. Port Charlotte is heavily peated. Octomore is off the charts peated.
Yeah, I think your scale's off there. It's like Bruichladdich, Port Charlotte, Octomore. Yeah.
But we shall see.
Not to scale.
Yeah, we shall see how this holds up. But Port Charlotte is consistently one of my favorite expressions of whiskey. Full stop. Like, I love Port Charlotte. And so when you visit Bruichladdich, do the tour, do the tasting, highly recommended. When you visit the shop, they usually have 2 casks on offer. They'll have a Bruichladdich and a Port Charlotte. And so this is Port Charlotte that I picked up in 2018. They refer to it as their Valinch series, which if you don't know, Valinch is that like yard-long metal pipette,
Did you
which
not bring
I
your-
forgot
did
to
you bring
bring.
the-
Which I forgot to bring. But it's essentially a pipette that they pull the bung out of the cask, cue jokes, dip in the pipette,
What? Don't
it
look
out.
disgusted. You just didn't get there in time. I think that's the only reason he's disgusted.
and they pour the whiskey with that. And so they named this their Valinch series. I'm saying too much. Make me stop.
No, I
So
won't stop
this
that.
is cask 3404. It's a 9-year-old. It's a single cask. This is bottled 155 out of 330, and it's bottled at 64.2. Yes, it is. Which is sort of over the top. Like that's pretty high ABV. Don't make me stop. I challenge you though, when you taste it, does this read like it's a 64%, or does it read a little more balanced than that?
Of course, we did just have a 60%, so I feel like
We did.
with the ladder we've been climbing.
We're climbing the ladder. So this is first fill bourbon, but heavily peated.
Yes, we love Charlotte.
And
Mo
and
says.
that first note off the nose for me is peat. Oh, it's
Is
like
it?
that beautiful expression of peat.
Oh.
Which
Oh my.
Port Charlotte always carries for me. Like I love them so much for that.
It's
It's that pool toy again.
yeah.
But this is like a more refined pool toy in an elegant library.
Yeah, no, this is
On a leather
This
chair.
is an Olympic pool in somebody's mansion.
It's like a British pool toy from like the
Ooh.
18th century.
Excuse me, sir. This is a Scottish pool toy. Do they have pools? They have fairy pools on Skye.
That's true. But you would not want to swim in them.
You might, Rabbit. You might. Oh, that nose is
It's
gorgeous.
elegant. I think that is the thing about the Port Charlotte. I think the sauternes, the white wine casks they use in maturing some of the spirit just really gives it this elegant feeling. And I don't want to say that other whiskeys aren't elegant. It's just that this
Yeah,
feels
but there's
like
a certain level.
it's a casual, easy elegance.
It looks great in a kilt.
This is my favorite whiskey already.
Yeah. Yeah, I might like this more than the Aberlour. Yeah, this it is. It's like every Port Charlotte I have is like they're all like from, an old library and in like a castle, you know what I mean, with a leather chair. Like every one of them is like, the voice of like, James Earl Jones.
There's
or,
history behind them.
like they're deep and rich, and it's like, Ian McKellen or
This is the part of the show where we just sit in the nose and just can't express ourselves.
Well, fine. I'll jump in on the nose.
Ruin
the-
that.
no. Yeah, go for it.
Good.
On the nose for me, instead of peat, I get a little bit of it, but I mainly associate it with smoked salmon or like a really like authentic lox bagel. Like it's not just smoked salmon; it's the everything bagel, the cream cheese, the capers, the red onion, the tomato, and then the
You're
smoked
in
salmon.
New York.
Yeah. Then a really weird like note of broccoli.
In the nose?
Yeah, in the nose, like, and then a vanilla wafer, like that you would like snack on or like eat, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get the vanilla. I do not get the broccoli.
I get the broccoli. There's like a sourness, like a
Coniferousness?
yeah, I mean I love broccoli, so
Do you love chopping broccoli?
I'm not a fan of chopping it. I like eating it. And it is a smelly like vegetable, but I love broccoli. It's weird. I've always loved broccoli even since I was a kid.
Okay, enough with the broccoli. I'm enjoying this nose.
and also Port Charlotte, my favorite distillery. I love Ardbeg. I love Ugadal. I love Black. I love the latest committee release, the Scorch.
Short, right?
I love it all, but Brooklady, I'm sorry, takes the cake. Everything I've had from them is amazing. Classic Laddie is a staple. I love all the Octomore series, and the MRC01 is probably the best Port Charlotte I've had.
I'm getting something else in here that I just think is interesting. It's the elephant cage at the zoo, the elephant enclosure. Yes, yeah, but in a good way. It's like when you're a kid and you're excited to go to the zoo, and you know,
You're not wrong.
yeah,
It's a weird note,
it is.
but I get
It's-
memory is weird. Like one whiff and you are transported to a place. And
It
so
is
I get that.
specifically the elephant enclosure.
Not the giraffe
No,
cage?
nope.
Could be, but mostly elephant.
Those tall bastards? No.
It wasn't coniferous, cruciferous. That's the
Thank you.
genus for the broccoli. Thank you, Mo.
Oh, but the taste is a pine forest, a Christmas pine forest. So all of the trees have
What
have
a
like
perfect time of year for that.
they're like there's a snow and they're covered with like watch out
Moths.
careful moths. They're covered with like snow and lights. It's like in like the Rankin Bass Christmas where you walk into the woods and every tree is like already like someone went out there and put like decorated them. And they're covered with candy. The best Christmas candy in the world.
Dare we go in?
Oh, you dare. You dare. I dare you.
Oh my.
It is a great nose, though.
It's really good. It's really good.
Holy smokes, this is my favorite whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
This is a good one. This is an outstanding show. Like all of these whiskeys have been so good.
Janice has typed in OM and then took a long time to type in the G.
Sometimes the G is hard to find on the keyboard.
That's true.
Yeah.
Especially when you're like, your
It's in the-
eyes are watering because you're loving this so much.
It's in the middle, but it's like you don't expect it to be in the middle.
I agree with you. Like, this does not approach as a 64.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, it's so well balanced. It is so smooth. There's no way this is 64.
Gesundheit. Neighbor just sneezed.
I love this distillery so much.
Yeah, no, Port Charlotte is my favorite. There's the B again.
Hello, BB.
Yeah, no, that's not where it is.
Yeah.
The hive is not that way.
If the sun is, the sun must be that way. Good golly.
Oh, look.
Yeah,
Is, it,
they're-
is that
they're-
the B?
I think it is.
Or is
yeah.
it another B?
No, I think it's the same B. Yeah, I go back and forth.
Do we have 2B or not 2B?
No, just one B.
You go back and forth?
I go back and forth. You know, the whole debate, Prickladdy, Ardbeg, Prickladdy. It really depends on my mood. And like, Ardbeg is great for those nights when you're feeling like outgoing, you're listening to loud music. Really good song. Oh yeah, no. Drink some Ardbeg. Prickladdy / Port Charlotte is more of the quiet conversation. Like, it's the more inward looking.
Like, I think on our show we always say this is my favorite whiskey, and I think it's because it's a category. It is not it's not a ranking system about exclusion. And I don't have to choose. I don't have to have a Sophie's choice of picking my favorite distillery. You know what? I can say all of them, and then I'm fine.
Yeah, it's like I say right now, Port Charlotte is my favorite distillery. It's my favorite. Like this is exactly what but you know what? For a long time I drank Lefroy, Ugadal for a while. Like Ardbeg was my favorite. Right now, Port Charlotte's my favorite.
Right now, Port
Right
Charlotte's it.
now, and at a later on, I'm sure I'll move somewhere in Speyside.
Yeah.
We'll see.
No,
But
the best whiskey is the one in your glass.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly it. Yeah. No one has even mentioned sciencing this.
Fuck you.
I guess I just did.
I had to go there.
And there will be ramifications.
Don't bother.
No
Don't-
ramifications. What?
Don't
That is
science. Like it's not worth it. It's not bad. It just kills it.
Yeah.
Like it kills all the fun.
Let's have a
No.
moment of silence for
Thad.
for Thad and the drink that's in his glass. To you, Thad.
Fucking love whiskey. Oh, was that the theme song?
I was doing taps.
Thought we're
but-
doing the theme
Yeah,
song.
no. Yeah.
They're very
Thought your
similar.
theme song is Taps. That's
Yeah.
weird. I mean, it's kind of dark, but okay.
I just thought Taps was a little sad. Taps is a little sad, so I just wanted to, you know. Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. I feel bad for that bee. Go home, bee. Ignore the light. Don't go into the light.
Well, eventually he'll turn out the light. Or all the moths will convince him this is not where he wants to be.
I mean, I feel like the moths are a bad influence on him. Like, I don't think they're trying to convince anyone that that's not the sun, since they're like, this is clearly the sun, man. Come on.
Let's go. Go into the sun.
Oh my gosh. 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 You know, this distillery.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
The only thing better than the whiskey is the people who work there.
Yeah, they're so great people.
They're absolutely charming.
Port Charlotte. We love you.
Poor Charlotte. Thank you, Brooke Laddie.
We fucking love Port Charlotte.
We love Charlotte. I fucking love Charlotte. Oh, it's so nostalgic
good.
for me. It is so like my grandparents' cottage on the Miramichi in New Brunswick. Just like the cedar chest has been open, and my grandmother has quilted some quilts. I guess you quilt quilts.
Sure.
Among other things, mostly quilts though.
Mostly you quilt quilts. But and then that's what you're sleeping in at night, and that's just like the
cat
smell as you
quilts
come
you.
out in the morning.
No.
This is the guy who got angry about the bung joke. You just want to
didn't-
point that out.
I was ironically
Just wanna
getting
know
angry.
that.
You know that I was ironically getting
No.
angry. I'm never gonna get really angry about a bung joke.
It's fine.
Man.
I fucking love whiskey.
He's come around.
Finally, finally Jim sees the light. It's taken so long.
No, the bee's flying right in front of the camera. Yeah, it's really agitated.
Yeah. He's confused.
Does the audience get the full-on them experience of the enormous bee right on the lens?
It went right through the camera there. It was pretty large. And they can rewind and watch.
Yeah.
Doug is looking for a job opening at Port Charlotte. That's his next adventure. They hire a lot of people, so
No, they are the largest independent employer on Isla.
although now they were purchased by Louis Vuitton or whoever,
What, really?
right? Not Louis Vuitton.
They were bought by someone? I don't like that.
All right.
I don't like it.
No.
Leave them alone. Do not mess with this.
Who was it? It wasn't. Someone in the chat will know. It wasn't Louis. Was it Louis Vuitton?
That makes me think of Ludacris.
Remy Martin? No, not
I'm
Remy.
thinking about Ludacris when he says Louis Vuitton. Yeah. Because of that song.
No. There's a larger holding company. Hennessy. Was that it? Hennessy? No, that's a,
Moe. I thought owned
Moe?
Ardbeg.
right. Moe is Ardbeg and Glenfiddich or
Glenmorangie.
Morangie. But it was. I thought it was a French company that finally bought them out.
Could be. Could be.
You know, Ludacris. Stand up. No.
Louis Cointreau.
Oh, that's not Louis Vuitton.
No, it's Remy.
It's Remy Cointreau.
Well, hopefully they leave them to continue on their journey.
Yeah, just keep doing what you're
'Cause-
doing.
Yeah, I mean, why would you?
Like,
why would you
since
change?
the reopening,
Cointreau, yes,
they
thank you.
have
Why would
done
you change
so
it?
many absolutely spectacular expressions that you want them to
Yeah.
just continue.
Right, and continue finding casks like this in their warehouse
Just
and
like
going,
this.
hey,
do these small,
try this out.
wildly variable, like so many different variations on a theme. I love them for that. Like the variety of their expressions is awesome. All the recent specialty casks they've been coming out with, the PAC-01, the MRC-01, the CC-01,
Their
like,
origins.
all
their,
this stuff is like, yeah, like they experiment more than most of their peers.
Mhm.
Which is labor intensive, which is why they employ so many people compared to their friends.
Next week we have Scorch and PC5 on our charts, which are
PC5.
PC5, Port Charlotte 5-year-old.
Absolutely brilliant expression. I
Who
love it
who
so
would have
much.
thought a 5-year-old whiskey would be my favorite whiskey? I think possibly of all time. I'm not as much of a sherry head as you know, Doug or you know, some other people on this
I know.
thread right now.
PC5 is my favorite, full stop.
It's
Wow.
It's
Looking forward to that.
oh, I'm not going to give you.
No, but you'll be able to see the expression on his face and recognize joy.
All right, fine. I'll give you some.
Fucking love whiskey.
Fine, I'll give you some. Fine. Gypsy Asparagus, also PC5 is his favorite whiskey.
Are we?
But you know,
Are we having a bonus round with this other thing you have, or is
Oh,
that afterwards?
we could certainly. I think we should try that on the air because I mean that's interesting. I don't know the ABV of this though, so we might want to reset just before we go to it.
But we have no idea.
We have no. It's not listed at all. Oh, unless he sent it to me in email afterwards and I put it
Well,
in
you
my
go looking
database.
for that. I'm going to enjoy the residual nose on this puppy.
I still have a sip left.
Oh, you and I'll give you $1.
You have like a whole bottle. Oh, yeah, stop fighting, y'all.
Also,
I
a
did
dollar's
something
not worth a sip.
That is the right answer.
I did the wrong thing.
That's typical.
What's going on? Why can't I?
Yeah, it smells like Dungeons and Dragons. That's high praise for me.
I heart Portrait. I fucking love Portrait.
Yeah. Man.
All right, this is a 2.5-year-old ex-bourbon red wine cask sample for Brian Green. No, and I don't have the ABV on it, so we'll have to reset with a banknote. Okay. This is a special bonus whiskey, and Thad will try and keep some of the bottle left for you.
We'll try.
We'll try. We'll give an effort. Oh, you know what I have to come back to? I have some of the Aberlour to come back to.
You're smart. That Aberlour is amazing.
That's so good. All right, I'm going to reset with some banknote here. For those that don't know, I think most of the people watching right now do know, but resetting is just to go to a lower ABV to kind of rinse out your mouth with a small amount of whiskey so you can approach a whiskey that might be a lower ABV than the one you just had. You'll notice on the show, we often try and keep going up in ABV. It helps you access it. It helps you acclimatize to the amount of alcohol in each sample.
And to a large extent, it's a sacrificial whiskey because you aren't going to taste as much off of it. You're not going to enjoy it as much
Like
as if you came into it cold.
this was the thing we used for a warm-up tonight, banknote. It's a very good whiskey, but going back to it right now, it is close to tasting like water.
Right. Which is dangerous.
It's dangerous, very, very dangerous. So
Very, like,
I don't know. I still get like a little caramel in there, like
a little bit, but
know?
I mean, compared to when I first tasted it, it was this big, and now
Yeah.
it's like this big.
Yeah. Well, I actually like before the show, I had some coffee, and I had banknote right after that, and it was like the sweetest banknote I've ever had. Like it was literally, I felt like I'd taken a shot of like molten caramel.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
the contrast from the bitterness to the whiskey.
Yeah. Yeah.
The nose is there. The taste is gone.
I don't know. I still taste it. All right.
But yes, one of our previous guests, Brian Green, gave us this Isle of Rasay, 30-month-old, 2.5 years. So
not
whiskey.
officially whiskey yet.
Not whiskey.
Not officially Scotch.
Is it still officially new make or is it something else?
I think you could call it spirit. I think it's beyond new make because it's obviously had some aging. It's got some coloration.
Yeah.
So wait, now so whiskey has to be 3 years, or is it Scotch?
Scotch definitely has to be 3 years.
Scotch has to be 3 years and a day.
And a day, yeah.
So this is whiskey. It's just
Not
not.
yet.
It's not Scotch.
Well.
That's
no,
true.
Now you're in this odd ground
Because
if they're
the
trying
Americans
to
call
do
it whiskey after it's been there for like a minute.
Yeah, but if you're trying to do it in Scotland,
But that's Scotch.
Right. This is not Scotch. This
It's
is definitely
not
not Scotch.
Scotch,
This
but
is
it
a
is-
spirit.
It is whiskey,
but it is
right?
whiskey. That's probably accurate.
It's a spirit, but it is not Scotch.
Thad, can you
Yeah,
fact
no.
check that?
I fully expect the chat to start scrolling violently as people correct this.
Hang on, someone's taking a tour of the Hollywood
If
sign.
our
above our head
Thad,
here.
if our chat ever scrolled violently, then that
That would be exciting. I love everybody's in
do it.
chat, by the way, but I'm just saying, bring
Yeah.
your friends.
Bring your friends.
Seriously, we want the highest viewership for this episode.
Right? Not the one with
Certainly
Stuart.
not Kolya. Certainly not Stuart. God, not Kolya.
I tried not to take very much of that. I probably took too much.
Okay. Hey, why don't you pour? I want to.
No, you do. You,
It's such
you
a.
can,
There's very little
you
in
can
there.
figure out how to do like a quarter of that.
You got to keep a bit for that.
Yeah, keep a little bit for that.
There you go.
Is it okay if I dump the water on your lawn?
Oh no!
How dare you put
don't
water
my lawn.
on.
And it's not a lawn, by the way. I'm very California natural here. Dirt. Early California.
And a bunch of
landscaping.
succulents and cactuses.
Yeah.
That's it.
And one big oak tree, which has deep roots and I never water. But kind of very nice. So we'll wait until
No.
wait until Jim joins in.
Save yourselves. Go for it.
It's like we've had so many bold flavors up till now. This is very subtle.
Yeah, and as we'd
Kinda
expect
shy.
it to be.
Yeah.
So I can just dump this whole thing?
Well, no, save a little for Thad. Thaddeus, it was Jim. It was Jim.
It's all good.
Into the whiskey cam. Check it out.
There it is on the whiskey.
So as long as this isn't the new Rasay that they put out, I'll be fine.
It's probably on the way to the new Rasay.
Okay. As far as I can tell from like a minute worth of research, it's 3 years is I think even for whiskey. Which how does that play into Wiggle? Because isn't Wiggle only aged for a day in an oak barrel?
It's so quiet. So I don't think Wiggle is actually considered whiskey. Is it?
So
The American rules may be different.
the American rules, I think, are quite different.
'Cause I feel like I've had 2-year-old
was
whiskey.
what was it? Georgia Moon came in a mason jar.
But that'd be
It was-
moonshine. That's why it's called.
It was moonshine. It was a corn whiskey, and I can't remember whether their description said aged for less than 30 days or more than 30 days, but it was essentially 30-day-old moonshine. But I believe it was labeled as whiskey. So American rules are different. I'm not saying they're better.
Okay.
Because whiskey's like the Venn diagram. That's the big circle, right?
Yes.
So-
Whiskey is the umbrella.
Grain fermented into beer and then
Scotch and
distilled.
rye and bourbon.
Well,
and
doesn't it have to be in an oak
Japanese.
cask to be whiskey?
I
feel
think it
like
has to be an
that's-
oak cask. Yeah.
No?
No?
I don't
I think it has to be oak.
maybe
Well, like, because
checking the chat to see if they tell us the truth.
No.
Here's what I'm going to say right now.
it's scrolling too violently. I can't.
It's going by too
Can't
quickly. Yeah, it's
follow.
hard to see. Baby diaper. Like
This?
I kind of get baby diaper. I'm not
It's not my favorite nose.
in a bad way, but
Well, we all have a duty to smell it.
see.
This is why no one likes you.
Everybody likes me.
We could always put a pin in this debate until Koya comes on and just says, "No, here's how whiskey is."
That's true. Kolya will know.
Font of knowledge.
December 18th, everyone. Last show of the season.
So soon? Wow. Time flies when you're having fun.
It does.
I like the taste more than the nose.
Well, that's not
We'll be
hard.
back in January.
Oh, wow. I mean, I'm assuming we must be dropping to a lower ABV, but that has a bite to it. I mean, it's young.
Oh,
It's young, right? It's 30 months, whatever.
yeah. Oh, it's got some of that
30 weeks? Is it 30 weeks, 30 months?
30 months. Two and a half years.
Yeah, this is definitely like young. It tastes young.
Yeah, I don't think they should have bottled this at 3 years. I think this would need more time than that.
Mhm.
It's got like a green branch.
It is interesting though. Like I love the idea that this is, before we normally get Scotch,
Yeah,
right? I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
I
yeah.
love the idea that this is like that's really interesting.
And it's got wonderful potential. Yeah. But unrealized. Like this needs some time to
This, I
get
think,
rid of that green note.
yeah, I think 3 years would be too young for this. 5 years, I think this might mature into something really nice.
But like, if I had a bottle of this, I would sometimes drink it. Like, it is,
yeah,
it is
yeah,
so interesting.
No,
And-
once
and
in a while, it's really fun to
some-
like, if you get access to new make. Like a while back, we had a new make Highland Park, and we had actual Highland Park, and we did a side by side.
Yeah.
And
What does the aging in cask do?
you can find all of the notes of the new make in there, and you don't realize it until you do the side by side, and you're, oh, there is all this kind of raw potential floating around in an 18-year-old, and yet, it was all there when it was 2. It's like, oh wow.
This is
I
like,
think that's fascinating.
this is newborn baby diaper. Like, it is not like it's still
I'm not
just
sure that helps the argument.
breast, because
I feel like someone's broken open a sapling and I'm like, and built a house inside
I
of it.
like
And
your
that's
comparisons
where I
to
am.
trees much better
Yeah.
than his.
It's like a green, it's like a very,
it's like
it's
green
like-
baby poo.
there's no baby poo. All right. It's a tree. It's a young tree. It's a sapling. All
Covered
right.
in baby poo.
Like there's the one treant in Lord of the Rings. There's the one like Treebeard, and then there's the other one that was hanging out with the hobbits. And he's like, I already decided because I'm really hasty. That's who, this is his younger brother, who's even more hasty.
Thanks, Marie Soleil. Thanks, Doug. Sanjava.
Yeah.
Well, that was our bonus whiskey. Before we go,
You're welcome.
we do want to thank Outside In Theater. Whiskey is for everyone. This Outside In Theater is about inclusion, and we want to echo that and continue that with our exploration of whiskey and wonderful guests and people that are tasting whiskey. So I want to thank Geek Filter for doing some of our graphics there. I want to thank Thaddeus for being the most excellent technical and probably the best tasting notes on our show. He is
Yeah, far and away.
yeah.
You guys
It should
aren't
be
even
Thad's
close.
show on his own, and we just sit here and like smile. I think because we're pretty.
I'm pretty.
Yeah.
Andrew's
I'm not so pretty.
Andrew has a lot of whiskey.
I have a lot of whiskey, and that's what I bring to the show. And you know who else brought a lot of whiskey to the show? Our guest today, Mr. Jim Leuper.
Thank you, Jim Leuper.
Slanjava, sir.
Slanjava.
Solange
Well, I'm very
Boss.
thankful for you, sir.
We love you too.
And you know what? The best part of our show is you people at home watching and entering things in the comments. We love to taste this live with you, see what you're tasting, see what your notes are. Please join us every week. And
You fucking love whiskey.
you fucking love whiskey. And now we'll go on an outro with our theme song.
Whiskey, 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 whiskey.